Listeners, before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com, reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now, let's start the show.
And welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley in the building with Emmanuel Hollywood Acho. What the hell are you doing? And where are you? Don't play it off.
Hey, Sal, don't play me no mind. Don't play me right now.
See what happens when you sell too many damn books? You start wearing sunglasses indoors. You become Emmanuel Acho. Man, I thought you were a franchise player. Well, let's get it started with another guy who's supposedly a franchise player, and Baker Mayfield, who, like Acho, shows up when he wants to. But he was on fire yesterday with 4 touchdown passes in the first half of the Browns' big win over the Titans. Finished with over 300 passing yards for the first time this season, and he hadn't thrown an interception in 5 straight games. Cleveland now guaranteed their first winning season in 13 years. Good luck. But after the game, Baker said, quote, "The job's not finished." So Acho Hollywood, has Baker Mayfield proven he's a franchise quarterback?
Hey, I've been waiting for this topic, Sal, because I tried to tell you early on last week that Baker Mayfield was proving himself to be the franchise quarterback. I'm not going to say a franchise quarterback. I'm not going to say that Baker Mayfield could be the quarterback for any franchise. But when you're talking about the Cleveland Browns, he has absolutely proven himself to be the franchise quarterback. What do we know about Cleveland? We know that it's a hard place to play. We know that many quarterbacks have tried and very few have succeeded. But Baker Mayfield, against all odds, is actually succeeding. The Browns 9-3. They haven't won 11 games since, what, 1994? But really, Marcellus, I had to kick back and think about exactly why I'm right on this one, and I thought about this. Colt McCoy, remember that quarterback, 33 years old now, that just beat the Seattle Seahawks for the New York Giants?
Beast.
Where was Colt drafted? Oh, the Cleveland Browns went 6-15. Robert Griffin, you know, the quarterback that looked very competent on Wednesday afternoon football before pulling his hamstring? He actually had to sit out of a year because of his time in Cleveland and what that did for him. So what I realized is being a quarterback in Cleveland clearly must be harder than we think. And just like some classes get graded on a curve, I think that some quarterback play, specifically in Cleveland, needs to be graded on a curve. If Baker Mayfield just went out there and dominated a playoff team, which we know in the Tennessee Titans, 4 touchdown passes, 290 yards at halftime, I think it's abundantly clear at this point that Baker Mayfield is the franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback, but he is the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
No way. No how. His inconsistency makes this decision for you. He is not a franchise quarterback. You talk about grade him on the curve. How about kick him to the curb instead of grading him on the curve? Because this is not a franchise quarterback based on production. I have no issues with Baker Mayfield. I told you, I go back day one with Baker Mayfield when he was drafted into the NFL. I was a part of some documentary that he had shooting the life of Baker Mayfield, #1 overall draft pick. He came up to me, went behind the ears, "Oh, youngster." I said, yeah, I'll be in there because I'm an old dog and I'm a vet. I think I was left on the cutting room floor, but I'm still not taking a shot at Baker Mayfield. But his play takes a shot at Baker Mayfield. You can't erase all of the work, all of the body of work we've seen from Baker Mayfield over the years and throw that all out because of what we saw in one half. And yesterday was a fantastic half of football. It totaled out to be a tremendous game for Baker Mayfield and his resume. But let's be real about that. The first half of that game, superb. What makes you consider him being a franchise quarterback? The second half of that game, look, they had the huge lead. I get it. You're preserving that lead. But that turned out to be a one-score game in which you only scored 3 points after the half. So it takes me to a conversation about Baker Mayfield because he's up and down. Just like in this game, he was hot, and then he was something less than. What about the Cincinnati game earlier this year? He was hot for the second half, but something else in the first half. What about the Pittsburgh game? Oh, he was just cold all the way through. What about the Baltimore Ravens game? Oh, nah, he was just freezing all the way through. So the point of this is, Acho, if you're a franchise quarterback, the doesn't matter. Are you or are you not? Right now, he's half pregnant, so he's not.
Here is the pivotal error that you were making. Remember, Sal, when we see a field goal kicker in Mile High Stadium out there in Denver make a 64-yard field goal, what do we consider? Oh, he's playing at altitude. So we kind of understand the elements that he's playing in regards to the success that he has. In the same manner, we have to take a beat and say, wait a second. Quarterbacks that go to Cleveland, they can't all be sorry. Like every quarterback that has played in Cleveland the last 2 decades, it's not possible that all of these Heisman finalists, Robert Griffin, Colt McCoy, Baker Mayfield, it's not possible that they just all sorry. So maybe we have to consider, playing in Cleveland must be to a degree more difficult than we think. Winning in Cleveland must be more difficult than we think. Let's talk other sports. LeBron James, Marcellus Wiley, you know this. 11 years in Cleveland and how many titles? One. LeBron James, 2 years in LA and how many titles? One. LeBron James, 4 years in Miami and how many titles? 2. It took one of the greatest, if not the greatest, basketball players of all time 11 years to do in Cleveland what it took him 2 years to do in LA. Why am I saying that? Winning in Cleveland is hard. You have a quarterback that is winning in Cleveland. And what you want to do, Sir Wiley, is say, wait a second. Yeah, they're 9-3, haven't won 10 games in 13 years, haven't won a playoff game in 18 years. But you know what? I'm really not content with this. I'm just going to kind of throw Baker to the wayside. Oh, Baker is 290 yards in the first half and his 4 touchdown passes. I'm just going to completely disregard that.
Well, look, you need to disregard the fact that it's not called Mile High Stadium anymore. It's called Broncos Stadium. You know, update your notes, big dog, as you need to update your assessment of Baker Mayfield as well. Seems like you're doing a little too much updating because you saw one half of football and said, oh, that's all I need to know. Because Baker Mayfield's playing in Cleveland. And if you're playing in Cleveland, guess what, boys and girls? All you need to do is have 2 good quarters. Erase all of the rest of the ills that we've seen from you over games, over seasons from Baker Mayfield. There's still question marks about Baker Mayfield. Here's a couple of question marks. How are you going to fare against the good teams when you face them, Baker Mayfield? Now, yesterday, he beat the Tennessee Titans. Oh, great. But let's look at the up and down, because there's a body of work that suggests that he has a little more work to do in terms of beating those same teams. Look at this. Completion percentage in wins versus losses. Is that the same player? Oh, what about touchdown-interception ratio? Same dude, Baker, the one on all the commercials? What about the passer rating? Oh, come on, Baker Mayfield. No way do you fall off a cliff like that. Yes, he does. 5 games this season, completed less than 60% of his passes. Only Carson Wentz is worse than that. But then he has 4 games where he completes over 70% of his passes. Only Brady and Herbert have more games than that. What does that tell you? The guy is all over the place. There is inconsistency in terms of how he performs. Even yesterday, despite having the gaudy numbers out there and looking amazing, this is a quarterback that still struggles against the blitz, still struggles against the pressure that he may face. So yesterday, who did he face? Tennessee Titans. Do people know that they rank 31st right now in the NFL in sacks? Well, he looked good against Cincy, too. Is Cincy 32nd in the league in terms of getting to the quarterback? So when he goes against a team that gives him all day to throw the ball, he'll look like the franchise quarterback. But Acho, that's not today's NFL. So what is he going to do week in, week out if you deem him a franchise quarterback?
So here's the problem with you, bro. And I've known this about you. I've told you this before. You're the dude that goes to the grocery store. You buy up half the store because you know you be eating.
I ain't going to the store.
You cut. No, pre-COVID. You come back, Sal, and you try to carry every bag into the house at once. And then you go to reach for that one final bag, and what happens? You drop all the groceries because you got too greedy. That's what you're trying to do right now. You're like, wait a second. Baker Mayfield has us at 9-3. You know how unheard of that is? Like, so I was drafted to the Cleveland Browns. We went 4-12.
Ah, there it is.
9-3 is unheard of. Yep. You got these boys at 9-3, and you're still sitting here telling me that Baker Mayfield's not a franchise quarterback. And I get it, Sal. You got full screens. Well, guess what? Your boy got full screens too.
Oh, let's go.
Baker Mayfield. Let's look at his career winning percentage compared to, I don't know, some other guys. Baker Mayfield, he's over 500 as a career starting quarterback. Matthew Stafford, what's that say? Oh, God, is that 46%? Derek Carr, oh, my God, is that 43%? Kyler Murray, he was supposed to win a MVP this year. What's that say? Oh, my God, is that 41%? So wait a second, Marcellus Wiley.
Yes.
Derek Carr? Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. I know that quarterback play isn't the only indicator of team success, but Baker Mayfield, in a harder city to win in, is actually winning at a higher clip than all those guys? Make that make sense, please.
I'll make it make sense. This is a 9-3 team that you have lost your mind thinking that they're either undefeated or they're Super Bowl bound because you're not diving into the details of what a 9-3 team looks like. When the last time you heard of a 9-3 team that had a negative point differential? Oh, I'll wait. Nobody's in the studio but me, so I'll wait. Negative point. Hold on. Wait a minute. You've won 9 games, only lost 3, and you have a negative point differential? Curious minds want to know how in the hell you pull that off. Look, Acho, no, for real. I understand your argument now because you saved it, you buried the lead, actually, by telling everyone you were drafted to the Cleveland Browns. Oh, and now you're post-traumatic stress from your years there as a Cleveland Brown because you're the guy that goes back to the old neighborhood that was a mess and says, oh, no, man, look at it. They cleaned it up. Look at all this new stuff that they have. Look at all the resources they're plowing into here now. Look at the swing. They got one swing out there, a seesaw, only one seesaw, not 2 of them to even balance it out. Oh, they don't have sand down here, but they drew a perimeter for us to play in. You all excited about little things, big dog. I'm only excited when it is. And if he's a franchise quarterback, play like one all the time.
I got a question for you, Marcellus Wiley. At Columbia, your freshman year, did you have to take a history class? I'm assuming, like, you had to take history like everybody else in other colleges?
Yeah, we had a core curriculum, but it wasn't, we took core curriculum classes,
Great. Yeah, like everybody else. Now, you always make fun of me because I went to Texas and you went to Columbia.
Yeah, we're not like everybody else. Chill with that.
Yeah,
what's up?
Well, of course you're not. So if I were to get an A in my core history class at Texas and you were to get a B- in your core history class at Columbia, I couldn't sit there and gloat about my grade because it's probably a little bit harder. It's probably a little bit harder to pass the classes at Columbia than it is at Texas, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. You know
in the same breath, it's probably a little bit harder to play quarterback in Cleveland than it is at other places. So if you can understand that it's harder to pass a class at Columbia than it would be to pass a class at Texas, why can't you understand that it's harder to play quarterback in a place like Cleveland than it is anywhere else? And why can't you use that same logic and apply it to this circumstance?
Because I don't understand the analogy fully. We're not independent when we're talking about franchise quarterbacks and NFL players as we are as students going to Texas or Columbia. I don't know about you, Acho, and your scholastic background, but I was a National Honor Student. And being a National Honor Student, you're no longer graded on your city or state curve. You're graded on a national curve in terms of who you are and what you have accomplished. I'm sorry, Baker Mayfield. You want to be a franchise quarterback in Cleveland and only Cleveland? This is the NFL. Cleveland Cleveland is one representative of 32 teams. So 32 teams have an opportunity to make you a franchise quarterback. But it has to be based on the NFL scale, not the Cleveland Browns scale. You need to get out your feelings, Acho. All the weapons this dude has, the defense in terms of defensive player of the year and playmakers they have on defense, and now he goes out there and wins 9 games, not even the reason they won 9 games, but now you're going to crown him. If you want to crown him, then crown his ass. But I'm not going to do it.
Wait, so then riddle me this then, Sal, riddle me this. Because in Cleveland, if you travel through the city, you'll see a jersey with the names of all the former quarterbacks on it, and they now are written in duct tape, and the names hang off the jersey list.
Yeah.
If not Baker Mayfield, then what do you submit? Another 20 years of quarterback ambiguity? Because clearly you can't just draft one and it work. Well, so what's the proposal if not Baker, sir?
Well, clearly anybody that has an arm that can extend off for handoffs and give it to Chubb and Hunt is going to be serviceable for you. And then every now and then show a flash of something. Give me a Cincy second half. Give me a Tennessee first half. And yeah, you're a franchise quarterback. That's not how the game works. Because before yesterday and his back-to-back 250-plus yard games, he had gone 24 straight prior without back-to-back games like we saw yesterday, or even less than yesterday. So what does that tell me, Acho? In the progression of being a player in this league, from good to great to franchise level, you have to have consistency. You know this, Acho. Anybody that makes the squad, that gets on the field on any given Sunday, can make a play, can even have a game here or there. But to pull those things together, to string those wins together, those outstanding performances together, is what a franchise player is deemed to do. Baker Mayfield has not been able to do that in his entire career. You have not seen that consistency. So I don't understand where you're getting it from. Oh, so he's the Trent Dilfer of Cleveland. That's fine. And I love me some Trent Dilfer.
Did Trent Dilfer go to a winning Super Bowl?
Yes, he did. And did they call him a franchise quarterback?
Okay.
No, they
got franchise money.
didn't.
You got franchise money.
Coming up at the top of the hour.
Go to break.
First
Go to break.
lap. We're not done with Baker's bunch. Cleveland is in the AFC playoff picture, but we'll tell you if the Browns are actually legit. But first, Russell Wilson was held in check Sunday. We'll tell you if we were more impressed by the Giants or disappointed in the Seahawks, like I'm disappointed in October. Next, speak for yourself. Come on, dog.
What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak For Yourself. Russell Wilson's slump continued Sunday, and it was all because of the Giants' defense. Yeah, I said it, Giants' defense. They sacked Russ 5 times and forced 2 turnovers. Seattle didn't score a touchdown until the 4th quarter, and the loss drops them to 2nd in the NFC West. While the Giants, who were without Daniel Jones, have now won 4 straight and are on top in the NFC East. So, Acho, were you impressed with the Giants or disappointed in the Seahawks?
Big bro, I'm torn on this one. I'm torn because the Seahawks, incredibly disappointing, but I'm going to go with, I'm impressed by the Giants, man. And I have to say this, number one, because Giants fans have been killing me on Twitter. I've seen the tweets.
Yes,
okay, they've been telling me to take a lap. I'm going to take my lap as soon as the world becomes more COVID safe. Kudos to Joe Judge. Kudos to Colt McCoy. Hasn't won a game since 2014. He goes to Seattle, flies across the country, and upsets the Seahawks in one of the biggest upsets all season. I saw the Seahawks were 11-point favorites going into that game. I'm impressed by the Giants. Their defense, outstanding. It's not just good, it's elite. I'm impressed by the Giants because their running game, 122 yards on the ground by their leading rusher alone. I'm impressed by the Giants because their passing game. Look at Colt right there. Efficient, gets the ball out, scored immediately. The Seahawks were disappointing. I'll get to that on my second lap. But on my first lap, you got to think about the Giants. won 4 straight games in a row. Their 2 losses prior to their 4-game win streak by a combined 3 points. Their loss prior to that by 3 points total, meaning their last 3 losses by a combined 6 points. This Giants team is incredibly impressive. I understand they are only 5-7, but Joe Judge and all that ridiculous madness from this offseason, it appears to be working. I was beyond impressed by the Giants yesterday.
Me? I was just disappointed in the Seahawks. I wasn't torn on this one like you were, Acho. Like you've been torn. Should I have the glasses on or take the glasses off? Depends on what block it is. Already, you over there torn about with your wardrobe. Me? I make definitive decisions, and I use my assessments from not only my source of my eyeballs and my experience, but also the sources of other players and other coaches. So it's time to get the quote machine out right now when we're talking about Russell Wilson, who is in a mini slump right now. Let's just be real about it. Russell Wilson came into this game, last 4 games, he had, 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He leaves this game with another loss and now only 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions for Russell Wilson in the last 5 games. In the same season, he was leading the MVP race. In the same year where he's still making an average of $35 million a year. You don't get away with that when that's your price tag. So, yeah, I'm disappointed in letting Russ cook because this is what's turned up. A burnt meal. Like, the meal is a mess right now if you can see what they were and what they are right now, and it's all because they let Russ cook. It's amazing. I told you this before, and I predicted this, and I didn't want to be right, but history told me I would be right. Russell Wilson will start off hot, will put himself in the pole position of an MVP conversation, but he's going to finish lukewarm, if not colder than that. I didn't expect this right now. Let's get to that quote by their coach, Pete Carroll, who goes out there and says, look, looking at Russell Wilson, quote, throwing the ball was a struggle. Woo! An MVP candidate, $35 million man, and your coach comes out and says throwing the ball was a struggle. That is a bullseye on one player and one player only in Russell Wilson. He also said Russell Wilson is taking too big of sacks in terms of the monster losses and sack yardage. You remember playing Madden back in the days, like before Madden got all professional and it started to imitate and replica exactly what the game is on the field. But before that, like Madden 95, when I used to play in college, shoo, you go back 20, 30, 40 yards and still could complete a pass. That's how Russell Wilson's playing right now, like Madden 95. Like he going back 20, 30 yards. Oh, I'm going to run around. I can elude. I have the best deep arm ball. I'm going to make it happen. And boom, all of these sacks for big yardage losses are starting to add up. On top of the fact that he feels gun shy, he's not pulling the trigger the same. He's trying so hard to cut back on turnovers that he's actually messing up. Come on, man. You're not expecting this of an MVP or franchise quarterback.
Here is why I can't agree with that take you just had, because there was one major lie which told me the whole take might have been a lie.
Your glasses?
You said I didn't want to be right. No.
Oh.
Marcellus said I didn't want to be right. I've never heard Marcellus Wiley say I did not want to be right.
I have no ego.
You sir, live to be right. Shut up, Sel. But here is the issue, because some of what you said, although that was a lie, you said a lot of truth. Think about this. The Seattle Seahawks, their first 17 offensive drives, 9 touchdowns. Their first 17 drives of the season, they had 9 touchdowns. Their last 17 drives of the season, they have 1 touchdown. Now, I don't attribute this all to letting Russ cook, because they've stopped letting him cook as of late. They stopped letting him cook as much. I attribute this to the fact that the Seahawks just are not as good as we thought they were. And early on in the season, we're like, oh, the Seahawks blew out the Falcons. Oh, the Seahawks played well against the Cowboys. Oh, the Seahawks played well against the Patriots. Then we look up, Falcons got what, about 3 wins on the season? Patriots, they've won 5 out of 6 and still only got 6 wins on the season. And the Cowboys, well, we know what the Cowboys are. But the Seahawks, since week 7, they only teams with more losses than them in the NFC, the Bears and the Panthers. For that reason, I'm disappointed in the Seahawks. If you are going to be a dominant team, you cannot play with your food. And the Giants, that should have been baby food for the Seahawks. I understand the Giants are tough. I understand the Giants are well coached, but the Giants don't have Saquon Barkley. The Giants don't have their top 5 quarterback. The Giants don't have any really big name players on defense. They got Jabril Peppers. They got Blake Martinez. Like, they got guys, but they got a bunch of tryhards. But remember what I said, Sel. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I'm not saying the Seahawks aren't working hard, but the Seahawks are far too talented, paying players far too much money, like you said, Russell Wilson, to get beat by the Giants. That is problematic, especially if you're at home.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this, and it's an unfortunate coincidence for Russell Wilson, but I look back at his career record, and it's amazing. 94 wins, 45 losses, and 1 tie, and obviously the Super Bowl championship so close to having 2. But then if you really dive into it, you start to see that there was only 1 year that Russell Wilson hasn't made the playoffs, had the winning record, but still didn't make the playoffs, 2017. What happened in 2017? Oh, the most pass attempts for Russell Wilson, quote-unquote, let Russ cook 1.0. And now we're back there with a louder megaphone, louder volume. Let Russ cook 2.0. And what's happening right now to this Seahawks team is not a positive thing. Russell Wilson continues to go back to some of the issues that he had all the way in 2012, where he didn't exactly fill out the rush properly, or he gets a little gun shy, or more importantly, as we saw since the Rams and Bills games, because of all the turnovers, they start to strip the offense down, become run dominant, and say, hey, we're not going to let Russ cook because Pete Carroll's formula is to run the football and play strong defense. Well, they're not built necessarily to do just that. And there has to be a balancing act, a happy medium between what Russell Wilson can do when he cooks and what he's doing right now, which is turn the ball over or not play efficient, effective quarterback. So I don't know what the answer is for this team, but with the stretch run that they have in front of them, and it's an easy-ish type of schedule because obviously you get to play the Jets, you get to play the Washington team in there. They have to figure this out, Acho. If they don't figure this out right now, let Russ cook, and the MVP is going to be the least of their worries. It's going to be, what are we doing as a team going forward?
Well, I'm going to say this, because you know Marcellus Wiley, regardless of where I am located, my takes are like a cake. They're going to be layered. First, I told you about the Giants, and I told you about the Seahawks. Let me go back to telling you about these Giants. The Giants have allowed under 20 points for 7 of their games.
Okay.
What that tells me is there's only one other team in the NFL has done that. What that tells me is the Giants are legit. Beyond that, I talked about a winning recipe. I got a full screen for you because the Giants team, they play winning football. It wasn't just the Seahawks sucking. The Giants made the Seahawks perform as they did. Talk about turnover differential since week 9. Giants are first. Time of possession, Giants are second. Rush offense, Giants are third. Points allowed, Giants are fourth. To win football games, win turnover potential, run the ball, stop the run. Giants are doing all of those things. So yes, Russ burned another meal yesterday, but I think the Giants played a factor in that.
Yeah, they play. I mean, look, the Giants were out there playing great defense in this new culture that I told you. You are on record. You are circulating the airwaves right now by saying that Joe Judge and the Giants were going to go 2-14. Boy, did you stamp that, too. 2-14. How you like them apples right now, Joe? Well, they got my boy viral for the wrong reasons on that one. But that said, we all make mistakes. I ain't mad at you. You know, I learned in this world how this is a negative-based society. And that doesn't mean you have to be negative in terms of being a pessimist, but understand the balancing act between having positive works versus negative works and how to balance that out, how to reconcile positive with negative. And it's amazing. You could go throughout your entire year. Let's use a calendar year where for 364 days, you can be a positive citizen, a great role model, and do all the right things. But that one day where you're off your game, what did you do during that one day can undermine everything else that you have done up to that point. It's crazy. Privately, I'll tell you some of my moments that almost undermined the entire year for me or more based on what occurred. But let me tell you what has occurred for Russell Wilson right now. This is crazy. Because there is a yin and yang right now in terms of Russell Wilson this season. Look at him in his wins versus look at him in his losses. Completion percentage, oh my God. Is that a 10-point drop, basically? Passing yards, same dude? Nah, I don't think so. Touchdown to interception, passer rating, interception, passer, you get it. The point is, letting Russ cook, franchise quarterback, $35 million man a year, and MVP frontrunner at one time, and still a candidate, cannot put up those numbers that show that wide a disparity. Coming up, Doug Pederson switched quarterbacks yesterday, but we'll tell you if we agree with the decision to finally bench Carson Wentz. Next, Speak for Yourself. Oh, I'll show you in for it now. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Carson Wentz continued his awful season yesterday and was pulled in the third quarter after being sacked 4 times and thrown for only 79 yards. Rookie Jalen Hurts came in with the Eagles down 20-3 and threw his first NFL touchdown pass, but he also added an interception in the loss to the Packers. But after the game, Doug Pederson said the team, quote, needed a spark, but he was non-committal on which quarterback would start next week. Cho, do you agree with Doug Pederson's decision to bench Wentz?
No, I don't. But first, let me get some things off my chest. Okay, you know I'm passionate about my Eagles. Number one, the Eagles set Carson Wentz up for failure. I haven't seen bigger setups than this.
What?
No, they set him up.
Oh, God.
Let me tell you what. Okay, first off, you draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. Any quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 55 this past year, there's been quarterback controversy. Tua, he shouldn't have started over Fitzpatrick. We knew that. There was quarterback controversy surrounding your boy Tyrod and Herbert. Herbert went in there and balled. So what did you expect, Carson Wentz? Of course he's going to be looking over his shoulder all season long when you draft a second-round pick quarterback. It's my first issue. My second issue, how don't you get some young wide receiver help? You got Alshon Jeffrey, old and aging. You got Deshaun Jackson, injury prone. You drafted the first-round Jalen Reagor, but he ain't really done nothing for you on offense. Great special teams touchdown yesterday. You set him up for failure. Now, Sel, let me explain why I hate benching Carson Wentz mid-game. It's a lose-lose. If you're going to play Jalen Hurts, give him starter reps during the week of practice. Don't throw Jalen Hurts out there to try to save the day, because what ended up happening? The day wasn't saved, Carson wasn't helped, and Jalen Hurts wasn't helped. The question was, hey, Eagles fans, how do you feel like losing? Do you feel like losing in like a young, some old stale way? Jalen Hurts, what'd he give you? Touchdown? Gave you an interception. Jalen Hurts, 67 quarterback rating. Carson Wentz, 57 quarterback rating. Jalen Hurts, he was sacked 3 times. Carson Wentz, he was sacked 4 times. So what did Jalen Hurts really provide beside an exciting loss as opposed to a unexciting loss? If you're going to play Jalen Hurts, practice Jalen Hurts. Don't just flippantly throw him out there and hope it sticks like you're playing Madden.
Wow. You know damn well I am going to echo everyone on the Philadelphia Eagles roster and saying, finally, you bench Carson Wentz. And it's no shot at Carson Wentz. It's a shot at how he's performing out there. It's a shot at the fact that 51 other guys outside of him and Jalen Hurts are sitting there like, just put the best player in. I don't give a damn if it's for short-term, long-term. Just give us the best chance to win on any given Sunday. And we both know, and we both can agree, that hasn't been Carson Wentz for most of this year. So you're right. They should put Carson Wentz in this situation. It's a predicament. It's not a setup for failure, as you said, just a predicament in which, you know, the cream rises to the top. Think about it. Let's go back to, 2005, when Brett Favre saw them draft in the first round Aaron Rodgers. And Brett Favre went out there and had his worst season up to date. 20 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. People was like, damn, I didn't know that Brett Favre was so mentally weak that he's looking over his shoulder at Aaron Rodgers on the bench. Well, he did rebound. He did respond. You talk about Tua. You talk about Herbert in those situations. Not a controversy. There's a starter in place, and then there's a backup sitting there like, if you don't handle your business, I will handle my business. I don't know if that's a setup for failure as much as that's just a predicament. And, hey, it should be some motivation if you're a competitor in the first place. But what did we get from Jalen Hurts yesterday? You brought up that point, which is a great point, because this was a guy who hadn't practiced with the first team. This wasn't a guy that had the reps and the chemistry with the receivers. Only played 33 snaps in 10 games. But isn't it crazy? After playing yesterday for just a quarter and a half, we saw him average 9.1 yards per attempt. Now, you think that's not much, except we hadn't seen that from Carson Wentz, reaching even 9 yards of pass attempt since October of 2018. Offense actually come to life, actually have an opportunity to win this game, in part because of the spark that was created by Jalen Hurts. Just being there for a quarter and a half. Give him a week of practice, a week of chemistry with the receivers, and then let him go out there and give you 4 quarters. He's already shown in a short stint he could do what Carson Wentz can do.
See, Sal, you've been in the media too long.
Yeah, that's real.
And I know you've been in the media too long because you utter some things like, oh, he provided a spark. I was watching the game yesterday, and they wanted to tell me that the Eagles had the punt return touchdown because Jalen Hurts was in the game. I don't even remember who was calling the game, but they had the audacity to say that Jalen Hurts coming in at quarterback provided a spark for the special teams player. Not only have I played special teams in the NFL, I played special teams for the Eagles under the same current special teams coordinator. Never did putting in a quarterback make me all of a sudden block harder. So Jalen Hurts had nothing to do with that. Jalen Hurts did show a ton of promise. I will say that. Now, I'm not going to talk about the fact that promises are often broken, but he showed a ton of promise. But what else did he show me, Marcellus? 5 minutes left, down by 7, incomplete, sack. I'm not saying that Wentz would have done any different, but all I'm saying is this. Anything outside of Wentz would have made everybody go, oh, my God, did you see that? When realistically, Jalen Hurts had 1 first down on 3 drives, and he had his touchdown drive. Now, had a touchdown drive which Carson Wentz didn't have. My biggest issue is if you're going to play Hurts, put him in a position to succeed. Don't let him run with the 2s all week in practice. That's the second-team offense. Then throw him out there flippantly. Have a plan, Doug Pederson. Doug Pederson does not appear to have a plan. Now Carson Wentz is suffering. Now Jalen Hurts is suffering. That's where I got my issues.
Hey, look, I'm going to say it like Doug Pederson said it. When Doug Pederson said, look, I just felt we needed that spark today. So stop getting mad at everybody saying the word spark. It came from the head coach himself of why he put Jalen Hurts in the lineup. And this is funny because he's looked at this situation before in prior games, but never pulled the trigger. But this time he says, you know what? At times, I saw that it may have been injuries at other spots. One of the Acho themes in terms of why Carson Wentz isn't playing well. Oh, it could have been the way other positions have been playing, not necessarily the quarterback position. Doug Pederson has said that prior to yesterday's game. But after yesterday, he said, nah, this one lands on the quarterback and the quarterback exclusively. Oh, no spark? How about on the 3rd play he connected with Jalen Reagor and he connected with him on that 34-yard pass? You may yawn again, Acho, as I can hear you right now moaning, looking for your sunglasses again. But here's the thing. Jalen Reagor, first rounder from the Eagles, hadn't gained more than 18 yards on the play since week 1. Sounds like a spark to me. How about Hurts on the 2nd drive when he drove him down 73 yards, completed 4 of 6 pass attempts, scrambled twice for 23 yards? Dude, all I'm trying to tell you is it's a spark, and a spark has now created a fire of turmoil out there for Carson Wentz. Got to bring in somebody smarter than both of us combined. Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks in the building. Now we got young Buck and old Buck up in here. I love y'all. So, Bucky, do you agree with Doug Pederson's decision to bench Wentz?
I'm sorry, Marcellus. I was stuck in my smile because I was finally happy that Doug Pederson finally did what we've been asking him to do. So I like what you brought down, Marcellus, because I think Doug Pederson tried to do everything in his power to give Carson Wentz every opportunity to be the starting quarterback. So the first thing that he said, you know what I'm going to do? Maybe it's me. I'm going to give him a play call. So he gave a play call a couple weeks ago, and it didn't change anything. So then he was like, well, maybe I need to change the pieces around him. We can reshuffle the offensive line. I'll bring Alshon Jeffrey back. Maybe I can put Jalen Reagor in the lineup. Maybe that will help our quarterback thrive. It didn't change anything. So then he said, well, maybe I can change the tempo. Let's go faster. Let's try and put in Carson Wentz and see if that'll change anything. It didn't change anything. So finally he was like, you know what? I've done everything else. I got to give the ball to Doug. Because for my own credibility in the locker room, if I'm talking to the team and saying the best players play, how can I possibly stand up room and say, hey, Carson Wentz is the best player at this position. We got to pull the plug. And they did, and we saw them play a little better. Jalen Hurts gave them the spark that they've been missing the last 8 weeks.
Gentlemen, here's the problem. We're about to come on Christmas season, right? And whenever you come to Christmas season, what occurs? You get a new toy. You get a new gift. And that day, that new gift is amazing. And why is it amazing? Because it's different. And you get out of a relationship, you get a new significant other. Oh, my gosh. You go through, what is it called, gentlemen? The honeymoon phase. Does the honeymoon phase last forever? No. Because the honeymoon phase is just that. A phase. So this Jalen Hurts thing, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts didn't show promise. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts will not be good. I like Jalen Hurts. I liked him at Oklahoma. I liked him at Alabama. What I'm saying is this. He had 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He threw an ugly interception. If Carson would have thrown that interception, we would have been like, Carson Wentz is terrible. He really had a Carson Wentz type of game. He made a great play. He made a bad play. So I just don't get how y'all are now looking at Jalen Hurts and saying, oh, Jalen Hurts, he's the answer. Like, somebody got to make that make sense. Did y'all not see the interception that he threw? Did y'all not see that? Did y'all's TVs cut out?
Yeah, I saw the interception when his hand got tipped. His hand got tipped before the follow-through, so it fluttered.
That sounds like an excuse.
Did you see it, Acho, is the question.
But you know what I also saw? I saw your guy, Carson Wentz, 6 for 15. I saw your guy continue to throw more interceptions, leading the league in interceptions. I mean, how long before we finally make a decision? I mean, you want to think because we paid him $35 million, it's a lifetime spot at the starting quarterback. No. At some point, he has to play well. And Acho, I know every night, thinking about how do I prepare for the show? How do I make this argument for a quarterback who is absolutely garbage right now? And you've done your best. You put together some stuff that I can't even imagine that you're trying to spit out there because you're just stuck because you're supporting a bad candidate. But I'm going to let you off the hook because Doug Pederson finally put you out your misery. We can now focus on something else besides Carson Wentz and how bad he's playing in Philadelphia. Because Jalen Hurts now going to take the position, and he is going to give the offense a little life, and he's going to bring some hope and optimism to the fans in Philly who desperately need it after sitting through a year of bad quarterback play.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bucky. I don't want to pour it on my dog because I don't like to see him living such a miserable experience right now. But as he continues to talk and pray for us all through this holiday season, watching your hands right now, your body language telling on you right now, Acho. You're praying a whole lot because you're praying for something that you don't even see happening or you don't even have faith in occurring. So you're going upstairs with your prayers. I understand that, Acho, but first you have to look at this with your super single ass. How you gonna come up to us and talk about what a honeymoon phase looks like? That's when you abort mission. That's when you get out of relationships because a honeymoon phase is all you've lasted through, Acho. But you see this ring right here? I endure it. I go through the ups and downs. And it's time to
Fix your fingers.
It's time to put Jalen Hurts on the roller coaster.
Hey, but you can't do this. Can you do this?
Nah. That was Pop Warner. But listen, stop teasing me and my anatomical issues. Here's the thing. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts. It's time for him to ride the roller coaster through the ups and downs. Let's do it. Because if you look at this situation, and I'm going to borrow from Zach Berman, beat writer out there in Philadelphia, great writer, who played a little game show that no one saw coming. Let's just call this, which door is it? Acho version. All right, door number 1, when they drafted Jalen Hurts. You know what they were thinking? It doesn't matter if we draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. He's going to be a cheap insurance policy for us. But Carson Wentz will excel, will continue to win, and guess what? No one's even going to think about this as a controversy. That's door number 1. How about door number 2? Carson Wentz. He goes out there and gets hurt, like he always does. And guess what? There's no quarterback controversy because Carson Wentz going to be hurt, and then we're going to look like we saw this coming and we put Jalen Hurts out there. Or what no one saw coming, which is door number 3. And behind door number 3 is Carson Wentz regressing to a point where there's an outcry for his backup to come out there. They didn't foresee this occurring, Acho, but it's a reality right now. And he needs to get benched. Be real about this. He doesn't need a 24-second timeout. He needs a full timeout, because it's one thing to get benched, but it's much worse to not start that next week. He needs to feel the pain of his regression. Coming up, Cam Newton's Patriots blew out the Chargers Sunday. We'll tell you if that means they're still alive in the AFC and praying like Acho. Next, speak for yourself. Welcome back. Let's head to New England, where the Patriots handed the Chargers their worst loss in franchise history. Well, that included when I played, with a 45-0 blowout. Damn. Cam Newton only threw for 69 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. Patriots have now won 4 of their last 5 and are 2 games out of the AFC playoffs with 4 games left. So Bucky is back with us, but Acho, are Cam's Patriots still alive in the AFC? Staying alive!
Marcellus, can you please stop calling them Cam's Patriots?
Why? He's a quarterback.
Like, you can call them Matthew Slater's Patriots.
Oh.
You can call them Justin Bethel's Patriots. You can call them the special team core. You can call them Joe Judge Residue's Patriots.
Oh.
But please stop calling them.
Wow.
Please stop calling them Cam Newton's
Wow.
Patriots. Being a quarterback right now for the Patriots, though, it's almost like being a backup punter in football or a backup quarterback for any other team. It's the best job in football.
Yeah.
Marcellus, like, be real. The Patriots scored 28 points yesterday off special teams and defensive turnovers leading to touchdowns. So I don't think that this Patriots team is alive, to answer your question, in the AFC. And I don't think it's alive because what is the Patriots way? The Patriots way has always been, let's force the other team to lose. In the event the other team doesn't lose, we will now go win. That's the Patriots way with Tom Brady for 18, 19 years. But what Cam Newton has shown us is, if the other team does not lose, we will not go win. What do I mean by go lose, for those that didn't play in the NFL or college or don't understand the term? We're going to hope that we can block a field goal, score on a punt return for a touchdown. We're going to hope the other team makes pivotal errors and lose the game instead of having to go win the game. Because if Cam has to go win the game, he hasn't been able to do that this year. I am not banking on Cam Newton's Patriots to somehow miraculously overcome this two-loss deficit they currently have in the AFC to make any real noise. They've won 5 out of 6. It's been impressive. Shout out to their defense. Shout out to their special teams. But I don't think that this is going to continue to last, especially as they start to play tougher opponents, because they do have the Rams this coming week, then divisional matchup with the Dolphins.
Look at you over there, Acho. Strong take that time. Finally, you woke up. Acho's back in the building. I respect that. You're just a little off base in terms of what you're saying. Cam's Patriots are certainly alive right now in the AFC, and they're not out of this playoff picture by any regard. Matter of fact, if the Bills were to lose tonight, and don't forget that the 49ers are actually favored in that game over the Bills, they're not just playing for a wild card. They potentially are playing for that division. Don't forget the Bills have the 49ers and Steelers, Patriots, Dolphins. Not the easiest schedule, but we'll see how it all plays out. Why I'm still a buyer of Cam Newton and the Patriots is simple, because they're playing the Patriot way. They're playing complementary football like Bill Belichick likes football played. Think about what that means, the Belichick way. One is all 3 phases integrated into the game plan, interdependent in the game plan. Not this, every time we get the ball on offense, we're just going to score and then leave the defense out there to dry and then see whatever special teams gives us as a bonus. That's how a lot of teams actually play. Not the Patriots. Look at them right now, number 3 in terms of their rushing offense. That's the Patriot way. How about the fact that now they, on third down, are 9th in the NFL? 9th. You say, top 10, so what? What were they last year with Tom Brady, the GOAT? 17th. What? Did they improve on the money down with Cam Newton? Yes, they did, because this is a team that when they take care of the football, they win those games. 4-1 when Cam Newton has no turnovers. Man. And finally, what is the Patriot way in terms of complimentary football? Special teams. And boy, were they special yesterday. 2 touchdowns from them, and they dedicate to that unit. Most teams just say, whoever can't start on offense and start on defense, you're playing special teams. And that's it, and I said it. Not the Patriots. They actually pick players, designate players, as you brought up, Matthew Slater, and about 5 others that are designated for special teams. That's their priority. It's all culminating in a beautiful experience for the Patriots to make this late season run.
You know, Acho, I know you didn't think that I watched the show, but I was watching the show that first segment. And I was watching you go on and on about Baker Mayfield winning games and over 500. You know, the best game that he had played, and he's 21-20 and all of this stuff. And I was thinking, you know, Baker Mayfield wins because the other guys do all of the other stuff. The running game, the defense was playing well. They're having great play calls, and they're setting him up. And, I mean, yesterday he had a great game. The first time he's played that well in a long time. The first time he's played that well this year, but you were ready to anoint him. He's a franchise quarterback or whatever. And so the block changes, and here we are talking about Cam Newton, and you're talking about all the things that he doesn't do, but yet the team has won 4 out of their last 5. They're beginning to really come together as it plays complementary football. Marcellus eloquently outlined it. Complementary football is offense, defense, and special teams playing well together. Cam Newton isn't turning the ball over. They're 4-1. They're the least penalized team in all of football. They're running the football so they can control it because they're number 3. And I'm going to say this because I'm not afraid, but I'm going to say, look, I'm a guy that loves to play pool. I fancy myself as a pool shark. And what I see right now is the Patriots have all the balls lined up near the pockets, and they're about to run the table. And we're looking at a team that is on their way to going 10-6 because when I look at the schedule, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets, all of those games are winnable for them. And so as you continue to deride Cam Newton for the way that he's playing, but we know more games are lost than won, and they will find a way to make those teams lose because Cam Newton is taking care of the ball, and he is playing the Patriot way.
I have 3 things to say. Number 1, Marcellus, please stop co-signing this man like we're at a Baptist church.
Yeah, Bucky.
Will you stop exhaling like you Whitney Houston? Rest in peace.
That's number 1. Number 2, Bucky, you need to get off the pool tables and get on that Peloton bike behind you. You haven't worked off that Thanksgiving dessert. Number 3.
He is hot. You got him. You got him, Bucky. He going personal.
Number 3, Baker Mayfield had more yards, Bucky, in 1/2 yesterday.
Chill.
One half of football than Cam has had in his last 2 games combined. So people, I'm not going to sit here and let y'all make me tangent and get distracted and start talking about Baker Mayfield, who's had more yards in 1/2 than Cam has in the last 2 games combined. But if you're telling me, if you're asking me, Sel, are the Patriots for real? I can't assume that a team whose quarterback has 5 touchdowns and 9 interceptions through 11 starts is for real. Bucky, you said it best, and you said it because I said it first. You said that more games are lost than won in the NFL. But come playoff time, Chiefs, they probably not a team that's going to go out there and lose the game. Steelers, I don't see them losing the game. Bills, they do a pretty good job of not losing games. You're going to play teams that aren't necessarily going to lose games. And the Miami Dolphins, they're just another version of the New England Patriots. They're not losing games. So the Patriots can continue to bank on other teams losing games if they want to, but sooner or later that luck will run out and that well, it will run dry.
Oh, so here's you took me right to where I wanted to go because you talked about teams not losing games. And what we saw is, I think prior to yesterday's game, I think we were talking about Justin Herbert as if he was Dan Fouts. However, I think Justin Herbert couldn't move the ball on the Patriots, and we talk about the Patriots not being talented. So then when I look at these other quarterbacks that are on the slate, Jared Goff, a week ago we were talking about Jared Goff slumping, and we just didn't know because he was turning the ball over. Tua Tagovailoa, I think 3 weeks ago we saw him benched in the middle of a game. And Josh Allen, like he turns the ball over a lot. And so when we're talking about these games and how teams offer up losses, if Cam Newton just plays steady Eddie ball from the quarterback position, the opposing quarterback, he may be prone to turn it over. And with the Patriots running the ball the way they run the ball and their special teams playing the way that they play, they're going to be in every game. And we have seen them, because remember, they're the boogeyman in that division. They've won it, 19 out of 20 times in the past 2 decades? This is what they do. And so I think all of the pressure on the other teams, because they know the Patriots are coming and they know the Patriots have found their identity, and Cam Newton has embraced playing smart football from the pocket. So I'm very confident that the Patriots are going to be there. And you know what? I don't think the Chiefs or the Pittsburgh Steelers really want to see the Patriots if they do get into the postseason.
Yeah, man, you got to update your notes, Acho. I told you that in the earlier block, but, you know, it's not working, obviously. You don't follow these teams week by week and ride the waves. You just want to come out with a glowing assessment. You like to come out with your Acho take in the beginning of the year. The Giants are going 2-14, and I said it. Well, how that turned out. Same way it's turning out with these Patriots. You doomed them as well. I don't know, Acho. I remember the 4-game losing streak. Yeah, they turned the ball all over 12 times. 12 times in that 4-game losing streak. I get it. But you know what? Now, in 4 of their last 5 games, no turnovers. That changes everything when you're talking about the Patriots and the way Bill Belichick coaches. Why? Because they went up to Cam Newton and said, look, big dog, we understand that you hit the ground running with this offense. The Miami game, the close loss to Seattle. We understand that then COVID threw you off your game. You came back still believing in your talents and still knowing the playbook, but it wasn't working out. The turnovers were dooming us, undermining us. So, Cam, let's strip this all the way down to the bones. It's going to be boring. You may take some criticism in terms of how you're throwing the ball, but we already know you're accurate. This is the highest completion percentage he's had, second highest in his career, and the highest since 2 years ago when Cam Newton was an MVP candidate. So they know that he could throw the football. But since they stripped it down, he's now taking care of the football. Now, we're taking care of the football. We're running the football effectively. Let's play lockdown defense. This is Gilmore entered the building the last couple of weeks and start shutting cats down. Oh, ask DeAndre Hopkins how that felt. What, 5 catches, 55 yards, no touchdowns? What about Keenan Allen yesterday? You know, Keenan Allen leading the league in catches. Oh, 5 catches, 48 yards, no touchdowns. We're playing lockdown defense, running the football, not turning the ball over, least penalized team. Now we're top 10 in terms of scoring defense and takeaways, and we playing special teams. What the hell are you going to say to a squad coming up to you like that, getting hot when it matters most in December? Coming up in our big story, Baker Mayfield was on fire yesterday, like I was just now in that take. But we'll tell you if his Browns are actually legit. Next, Speak for Yourself. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Our big story is brought to you by DXL Big and Tall. Oh, you're talking my language. Clothing to fit at DXL.com. Let's head back to the Browns. Baker Mayfield went off in the first half yesterday with 4 touchdown passes. The Browns have now won 4 straight and at 9-3 have clinched their first winning season in 13 years. With the win over the Titans, Cleveland is currently the 5th seed in the AFC. Bucky is back, but Acho, are Baker Mayfield's Browns legit? Legit.
Yes, 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 and yes. I've been saying this one, big dog. It's time that you jump on the train and believe in the Browns. How can they not be legit? Well, they stop the run, they run the ball, and they got a quarterback that can win games. They've won 4 in a row. The only teams that are hotter, the Saints, the Chiefs, the Steelers. If this was, say, week 7, Marcellus, and the Browns had 3 losses, I'd be like, I don't know if they're legit or not. It's week 13, bro. If you 9-3 after week 13, you're legit, especially if you just beat a team that is legit. To be the best, you got to beat the best. To be legit, you got to beat that who is legit. Everybody knew the Titans were legit going into this game, so I don't understand how you could argue that Baker Mayfield and these Browns are not legit. One of the best pass rushers, if not the best pass rusher in the game, got the best running back tandem in the game, and now you got one of the top 2 offensive coaches in the game, and you got a quarterback that is confident. Say what you will about Baker Mayfield. One thing he has in excess is confidence. But here's how I'm going to do you, Marcellus. Can I get my full screen, please? Because I saw this and I said, oh my God, is this real? Baker Mayfield, 21 touchdowns, 7 picks. His touchdown interception ratio on the left side, it's better than Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Kyler Murray. But then let's talk about the touchdown percentage. What that is of the passes he throws, how many of those are touchdowns? Baker Mayfield is more likely to throw a touchdown on a pass play than Drew Brees, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Kyler Ben Roethlisberger. So if Drew Brees and Baker Mayfield throw a pass, Baker's more likely to throw a touchdown. If Tom Brady and Baker throw a pass, Baker's more likely to throw a touchdown. So that means you got a quarterback that's throwing touchdowns and no turnovers. You got a running game that goes crazy. You got a coach that balls. You got a defense that balls. How can you not be legit? The Browns, incredibly legit. They're real threats.
Damn, you went at it. You were eating on that one. I'm going to save you some, Bucky, so I'm going to go quick through this. Hell nah, they're not legit. I mean, they're like that one-and-done team that you're all thinking about. Oh, they're going to get into the tourney and then that first game, yeah. That's what's going to happen to them. They're the Houston Texans of last year, even though Houston should have lost that game to Buffalo, but Buffalo gave them the game. That's the only way I can see the Cleveland Browns making some noise in the playoffs. Somebody give them a game because they're not going to go out there and get it done. Why? Because Acho's getting a lot of confidence off this schedule, and they're 9-3. 9-3 with the 4th easiest schedule up to date. Oh, we only have 2 victories versus the winning teams yesterday and the Colts. So that's a lot of confidence. You're going to make it happen when you play the best of the best in the playoffs based off of your schedule so far. And going forward, you got the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Giants. Do something against those teams, then you would start to get my confidence. All of that said, I'm looking at a quarterback that's still too inconsistent, and I'm looking at a team that's going to be in a situation they haven't been in but once in the last 2 decades. So, no, I don't think that they're going to make some noise. They're going to get to the playoffs, and they're going to look good, and the uniform's going to show up, but I don't think those dudes are going to advance.
I'm actually going to go counter to Marcellus on this one. I actually like the Browns.
Oh.
I like the Browns because of the way that they are constructed. This is a team that's constructed for the long haul. They're built well in the trenches. The offensive line and defensive line are legit. They have 2 tremendous running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Those guys are able to control it. That's why they have a top 5 rushing attack. They have enough playmakers on the outside. David Njoku, Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry, where they're able to make plays. They had a young guy show up in Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then their quarterback, when managed effectively, he can run out and make plays. Now, they can get into the tournament, but how far they go into the tournament, that rests on the shoulders of number 6, Baker Mayfield. I still believe, in spite of the game that he had, which was the best game of his career, it was a career game on Sunday. Career game. He's never played to that level. But as long as they're able to keep the game in line, run the ball, play good defense, Kevin Stefanski dial it up for his quarterback to have these easy throws, absolutely, the Cleveland Browns can create problems. But ultimately, how far they go is going to be determined by the way that Baker Mayfield plays down the stretch.
No, playoff football is plan B football. We know what you do well, which is run the football. What are you going to do in plan B? That means throw the football. They don't have it. Baker Mayfield in the 12 games this year, 6 of those games, half of those games with a passer rating under 90. Only Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Carson Wentz can say that they have more. Yuck. Coming up, the Raiders spoiled the Jets' first win of the season, and Greg Williams lost his job. We'll break it down next. Speak for yourself. Let me get some of that DXL. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. Have to give it up to you, big dog. You nailed it last week when you defended Baker Mayfield. Here you have more thoughts on him after his big win yesterday.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
You know your book sales is doing good when you don't show up to work all month. And then you show up on a Monday talking about, as I was saying on Friday about Baker Mayfield, big dog. No, Acho, that wasn't your take on Baker. You stole that take from me off of Twitter. You very well-dressed troll, you, hiding off the surname Midnight Lavender at 316. Let me tell you something. I'm the one that said that the Tennessee Titans was going to get smoked like a cheap pack of Bakerfields in a jailhouse. Let me tell you something. Baker Mayfield has become the Joe Pesci of the NFL. We started off laughing at the dude when he was at Home Alone. The next time we saw him, he was a good fella. See, and that's what happened to Baker Mayfield. He's now a made man. That explains why he made all them dumbass commercials. He was making his bones. All of y'all complaining about that press conference yesterday. He's a wise guy. What do you expect? If you think he's gonna change, you can forget about it, okay? What are you gonna do?
Hey, I love it, Unc. I love it, man. You looking good too, Unc. Old man lineup. A little gentle on top, crispy on the sides.